And good afternoon, folks. Alright, so we're going to do some Train Some World for this afternoon stream. Streaming in the afternoon rather than the evening to work around our local football schedule. So this might be somewhat of a short stream, I'm not exactly sure. We were up kind of late last night for new game night, streaming a new game called Superliminal, which I actually didn't get to finish. I was thinking about finishing it today and then maybe rolling into Train Some World. But I'm kind of stuck on the puzzle that we finished on last night. So I decided to just kind of leave that on the back burner for a little while. We'll do some train sim and then maybe sometime during the week we'll see about jumping back into Superliminal. I don't think we're going to do that tonight. Or even today, this afternoon. Alright, in the meantime, let's find something to get into here. I've been working my way through the mastery challenges as a way to kind of explore the new corners of Train Sim World 3. I tended to ignore mastery totally when it was, I guess introduced in Train Sim World 2, but I'm kind of doing that now. And I did see in the release notes for last week that there are some updates to journey mode in some of the routes. Maybe I should take a look at some of those as well. Let me see something. Like, for example, if we grab... You know what, let's change the sort on this. So you can go alphabetical, newest to oldest, oldest to newest. Oh, okay. Newest to oldest. That doesn't look right. What? Is that sort correct? This is not the newest. Yeah, I don't get this sorting. A to Z, Z to A. Am I missing something here? Newest to oldest. A to Z, Z to A. Oh, I guess it always puts the last played route at the top here. Regardless. But this would be TW. Okay, I see. And then A to Z. A to Z. C to A. Newest to oldest. That still doesn't look right to me. Newest to oldest does not look correct. I'm not sure how they're sorting that. That doesn't look correct at all. Alright, well that's disappointing. We just got an update too, a huge update. Let me try something else. If I back out and come back in. Yeah, I don't understand this sorting at all. This is not newest to oldest. Alright. But let's see, for example, if we go into here. Alright, so Cajon Pass does not have a journey mode. What about the other new routes? How do you get journey mode now? Oh, maybe here. Journeys, okay. Okay, I see. So they separated journeys out completely. So what do I get if I click any one of these with the check marks? Alright, so you get a star if you've completed everything. I guess check mark if you have partial completion, and then blank if you haven't done anything. Or not. No, that's not true. Don't understand. Oh, wait, it tells you down here. Not started, started, completed. Completed the gold. Okay. Okay, so I know where journey mode can be found now, anyway. Although it's telling us here some of these are not started, and that's not accurate, so that's a little bit of a bug. Alright, so let's go back. I think I'll continue with the mastery for now. Maybe we'll jump into some of the journeys after to continue to work our way through the newer routes. Alright, so what do I need on Southeastern High Speed? This is complete. I'm on tier 2, right? Why is it locked? Okay, some of these requirements are not accurate. They just gave us a fat new update just this week, too. This is a little disappointing this is not fixed yet. Alright. Alright, so I haven't done quite that much of Cajon Pass yet. Let me, I think we'll start with that for today. So, let's see, making the switch. Complete 2 yard switching timetables, okay. Or complete 3, well, this one needs 3 complete scenarios or timetables. Alright, so let's see. Timetables. How do I know what a yard switching timetable is? Yard switching? Let me look at that again real quick. Because I don't know how I'm supposed to know what a yard switching timetable is. Are they talking about scenarios instead? This is a yard switching timetable, but this is a scenario, not a service. This is the same. You know, before we commit to that, because if we use a scenario for that, towards that, it could be potentially time consuming. Do a little bit of homework, see if we can figure out if I can do a scenario and not a service to satisfy that. Alright, so oh, these are yard switching. I found them. Okay, I see. All right, so I have to. These can only be done with the SD40. Okay. Could I have searched for this? Yeah. Okay. All right, mystery solved. Alright, so some of these obviously are much longer than others. Why don't we start with the shortest one just to see how it plays out. Alright, we'll try this one. Oh, you know what? I just did all that changing for the weather and I reset it somehow. Let's go back. Any day now, game. All right, let's go back. Hey, Vermilion Phoenix. Phoenix says, how did Superliminal go? Had to go do some stuff with the wife. Didn't finish it. So still a little bit left to go at the end. But did okay until we got to this one puzzle where you kind of have this big apple, and every time you touch it, it replicates and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I got stuck on that one, so we actually looked that one up on YouTube to get past it. But other than that, did okay. Hope the rest of your evening went well with the wife. The one with the fans, yes, there's a big fan, and every time you touch the apple, it just kept replicating. And yeah, I couldn't figure it out, even though I did have the right idea about how to fix it, but apparently my mechanics were just a little bit off, and I wasn't dropping the apple in the right spot. Duplication was pretty wild, yeah. So I kind of had the idea, because everything's perspective, right? You click it, and if it's above the button, it's supposed to just, the copy goes onto the button, but when I tried that, it didn't work, and then we finally looked it up on YouTube, and I tried it again, and then it worked, so it was kind of weird. The door that made itself look like dominoes was hilarious, yeah. Yeah, we got through that one okay, because I figured out I could just climb over the wall with that one, so everything else did okay. But yeah, we went pretty late. It was like around 12:30 my time when we finally, when I finally signed off, because brain was just tired. So I was going to try to finish it today. I thought about maybe finishing that first and then doing Train Sim, but I think we're just going to, I might finish it during the week. If not, at the latest, we'll finish it again next Saturday. So, yeah, definitely a mind bender. Still a good bit of the game to go. Okay. Yeah, somebody else had came in after, I guess you must have left, who had said that they thought I was nearing the end, but, you know, never having played it before, I can't tell how close to the end I am, so. Yeah, so we just called it a night after about, like I said, 12:30 a.m. here, and I'll pick it up again sometime within the next week or so. for today, yeah, we're just rolling some trains. All right, we'll go with that. Yeah, we got a big new update just this past week on this game, so I guess we'll just see how we make out. Last time I streamed this, I think it crashed twice on stream. So, see if they fix some stuff this time. Hope so, anyway. Alright, so we are doing a yard switching scenario. Alrighty. My gauge lights, here we go. Alright, let's take a look at the map where they need us to be right now. Going this way. Where's our objective? Oh, right there. That should be okay. Alright, brakes are on release. First to forward. 2 toots for safety. Tracks should be set properly. We'll just double check as we go. Oh, I do have a conductor on the train. I couldn't even see her. Okay, she's hiding over there. Alright, I see her. Alright, double check the switches. Alright, should be good. I see they changed the icons for the stop markers now. That's good. I thought the other ones were a little bit redundant between the stop markers and the go vias. A couple of formation 16 vehicles. All right, where are we going? Okay, we're forming up with this train here. All right. Put the reverser into reverse, release the brakes. Long backup. Should be coupling any minute. Speed under 5 miles per hour, we should be okay. There we go. Alright, we'll go double check. Locked. All right, where are we off to now? Oh, we're way over to this side of the yard next. Alright. We would have had to wait for that train to clear our route anyway. Okay, so we're just parking over here. Alright, should be the right way. Push it back to forward. Use your brakes. Throttle up. Not the longest freight train we've ever driven. We're pulling downhill in this direction, very slight downhill. check our switches. Signal here. Looks like we're yellow. Should be good. Give it a little break, watch my speed. My downhill grade is increasing. Check the switches again. Pretty sure we're in the right spot. All right, now 3,000 feet. All right, inside 2,000 feet now. So we'll stop. Inside 1,000 feet. Alright, 100 feet. Alright. Yeah, there's our conductor. Blocking the front door. You afraid I'm going to leave? Alright, uncoupled there. Alright, so we have another stop. Let's see. Drop those wagons off. Heading up this way. Another stop here. Guess we're grabbing some more freight cars. There's the brakes. Pull up. Lovely. Hornbow. Oh, isn't that nice? That is very peculiar. I can still hear the horn blowing, but it's way back where we left. So yeah, that's some kind of weird bug. It's starting to rain, so we'll grab a little bit of windshield wipers. Alright, 1,000 feet to our next stop. And see what we have to do after that. Yeah, I can still hear that horn. It's cycling back around now. Alright. Hopefully it's not much longer to finish this service off, because I was going to drive us crazy. So through these switches to that spot. Matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is close the windows so we don't hear the horn too much. I tell you, Dovetail, man. It's like the more they do, the more they have to do. I swear. They keep breaking shit. Try that view. Oh, I got wipers in the back. I didn't know that. How do I run those? Oh. There we go. Back wipers. Cool. I didn't know there were back wipers. And hey, Scott. How's your weekend? Alright, I guess we're pulling uphill this direction. Yeah, we are, actually. Alright, anything else? Oh, that's it. Fine so far, yours? Yeah, doing okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I saw we got a big update to TSW3 this past week, so I'm just giving it a try. Last time I streamed this, I had 2, maybe 3 crashes. The game crashed. Alright, so that worked out. So we can close this out with one more switching service. Let's give that a try. Alright, so I thought when we did that one, it said we can only do switching with the SD40. But let me double check to see if we can do any with the ES44. Because I'm not sure, but we'll see. So, are there any yard services? No. Alright, so I can only do that with SD40. Alright. Alright, try that again. Yard switches. Alright, so these are all varying lengths. Let's take the other short one. What you up to today, Scott? Flying? Alright, yard switching number 12. We got a 17 car consist, 2,400 tons. A couple of formation 16 vehicles. What do we got? 17 already hooked up. Alright, add the reverser. Generate field on. Turn the gauge lights up. Headlights up. Scott says, got an 8-hour flight going, unattended. Amsterdam to New York. Hopefully still in the air. Alright, let's check the map. Where are we going? Oh, way, way over the other side of the yard. Nah, I'm sure you're fine. Got the autopilot all set up and everything, right? Wait a minute. Are we coupling head on? I mean, if I'm driving this direction and I'm pulling a train, my locomotives are going to be in the middle of the train. That's kind of weird. Is that right? Hold on a second. Where am I? Oh, I'm on the other end. Okay, we're backing up. Okay. I was reading that wrong. I was like, wait a minute now. I see. Alright. Alright, so we're going to throw it in reverse. Brakes. I am not going to mess with the horn this time because the last service we did, the horn got stuck. I found a horn bug, so I don't think we're going to mess with the horn this time. Alright, throttle up. Long trip backwards. Scott, what plane you flying on that flight? Alright, so we got another 7,000 feet to go. Yeah, before we continue with that, let me check something real quick. And hello, Blast Pop. Glad to see you training. Yeah, welcome. Maybe HUD. Yeah, I saw that we just got a big update last week. I wasn't even aware of it till I started the game today. Imperial distance automatic. Huh. Let me see something. So automatic yard. Oh, yeah. I was just wondering about that because they used to give us the distance in yards, I thought. I didn't realize they changed to feet, but we can switch it looks like. All right. That's what I was looking for. Let me see if that works. Oh, interesting. It switched to miles. That's interesting. Sort of a housekeeping update. Yeah, I guess the house must have been filthy because it was a big update. I think it installed. The update was 34 gigs. So yeah, big update. Scott says I have an MSFS add-on called A Pilot's Life 2. Career mode for airliners. Currently contracted with Delta and need to fly so many hours a week. Okay. And using the A320. Should have used a 787. Gotcha. Need to add fuel halfway through to make sure it doesn't run out. Okay. Watch my speed. Your update was only 463 megs. Maybe I read it wrong. I'm pretty sure mine was way bigger than that. course, I don't know if there's any way for me to check that after the update is completed, so... Yeah, but mine took a while. Double check the switches. Alright, so we're rolling downhill again, coming this direction. Well, it looks like we're on target. Good to see you can back up as fast as you can drive forward. Sometimes, anyway. Gotta wait for the brakes to come off. Big old long train. Go. So I did find a bug on the previous service. I, gave 2 blasts of the horn for safety and it got stuck. It wouldn't turn off. So that was annoying. Another 400 yards. Brakes are off, yes. Just pulling a pill, I guess. Alright, got that one. No physics bug that time. Go via Barstow, west departures. Let's see where that is. Alright, back forward. Blast Pop says, was driving Liverpool Lime Street Crew last night. The steam pressure was a lot lower, and it felt different. Not sure the problem was me or the update. Oh, okay. You enjoying the Spirit of Steam stuff? Otherwise, all right, should be clear. One of the switches. Been pretty good. Think it needs more work. Okay. All right, we should be good. Push it forward. Brakes off. Roll up. Stretch it out. Alright, new conductor. Alright, I'm opening the windows back up in the cab because I don't plan to play with the horn anymore, so at least it won't get stuck if I don't touch it. So looks like we got a signal ahead. There it is. Is that actually yellow? Man, I'll tell you, if I didn't have the HUD, I couldn't tell what color that signal actually was. I couldn't tell if it was yellow, was it flashing red? I couldn't tell what it was. Alright, so that's a go via, actually. Not a stop. I saw in the release notes they finally changed the icons to tell the difference between a go via and a stop, which I think is good. I just wish they would have made them different colors also. Blast Pop said, I heard the UP is going to drop off a lot of cache in the Barstow yard to the point of it becoming the new precision railroading. Union Pacific, you mean? And hello, Neil. How you doing? Another 200 yards. Doing well. That's good. Neil, I saw you streaming a little bit earlier. It was really early in my time. Well, I was still in bed, actually. But I saw a notification on my phone that you were streaming this morning. Yes, Union Pacific says Blast Pop. Okay. Yesterday didn't get to today? Oh, okay. Alright, stop at Barstow. 1.2 miles. So that was yesterday. Okay. I thought it was this morning. So Blast Pop, what are they going to do with all that cash? Any specifics that we know of? Set up 15,000-foot trains? Oh, okay. Neil says last time ended with a signaling bug in a BR-363 scenario. Oh, really? Okay. That's the switcher, right? The diesel switcher? Alright, coming up on a mile to our actual stop. Yes, in Morse ignored. Okay. Which one is is that one? Okay. The independent brake. All right, I got it. That's the auto brake. Train sim. Wahoo! Hey, Jimmy. Yeah, doing some yard work with heavy American freight trains. Big old American muscle, as I like to call it, Jimmy. All right, inside of a mile to our stop. Yeah, Neil, this is my first time playing it since we got the update last week. Matter of fact, I didn't even know we had an update. I hadn't been, you know, looking at the news pages or the forums or anything. And then I started up Steam and I saw it had a big fat update waiting for me. I was like, oh man. So I didn't even know if it was going to be done before I wanted to, you know, the time I wanted to start streaming. But it just made it. So I did find one bug. There's a horn bug on this locomotive. It just got stuck. It wouldn't turn off. All right, 900 yards. Neil said I had gotten that on ES44 on this route so many times. Really? Okay. Yeah, I haven't had it happen on the ES44 yet. But yeah, today so far, just with these switching scenarios, I've only been doing the SD40. Never on this one, ironically. Yeah. Jamie, I hope your Sunday's going well. Hope you're not working too hard. Just got back from work. Nice. So are you off for the evening or are you on call? How's your Sunday? Good. Yeah, good Sunday so far. I had thought about continuing Superliminal, you know, this afternoon and then do Train Sim World. But I decided to give my brain a little bit longer of a break, so we'll maybe try to finish off Superliminal maybe during the week. I might do a bonus stream during the week and try to finish it off. Yeah, did good last night. We had fun with it for the most part, but those last couple puzzles we hit were real brain breakers. So I thought about it this morning. I'm like, I'm not going to touch it today. I'm going to let it sit for another day, and then we'll get back to it. So at the latest, maybe next Saturday, but I think I actually might do it during the week. See if we can finish it off. I am on call, but I'm hoping I'm done now. Gotcha. All right, inside 100 yards. Also, thanks again for the raid last night. I appreciate that. I'm sure people coming with you on the raid watching watching that game being played, that was a real change of pace compared to Dead by Daylight, right? Overshot again by 20 yards. I'm so slow with those. Oh, with the duck hunt? Okay, and a couple vehicles. You can shoot again. You can actually shoot more than once, but... Okay, so people have told me in the past Twitch has a rate limit on how often you can type the exact same thing in. So like, for example, if I typed in the same thing, if I typed in shoot 4 and I missed... All right, well, it timed out this time. But then if I tried to type it in again, I don't think it applies to me because I'm the streamer. Twitch has been, people in chat have been telling me Twitch has been telling them they can't type the same thing again to take a second shot, right? So, I found out there is a workaround. You can type the same thing again, but just add spaces to the end. Yeah, for some reason I can't shoot. You can shoot, but I can't shoot that one. So yeah, if you want to take another shot, so do the same thing, but then the second time you had 2 spaces, the third time you had 3 spaces. And apparently that's a workaround that I've been advised works. So you can try that too. Oh no, don't do that. All right. All right. Freight cars delivered. All right, where are we going now? Way back over yonder. Okay. Yep. Rain's starting up again. All right, reversals and forward now. There's the brakes. Throttle up. Watch my speed. And hello, Trevor P. Crazy. Welcome. It's been a while. Yeah, it has been. How you doing? Hope everything's been well. Trevor says, feel like this game is good, but was also a money grab. They could have put the content into TSW2. Yeah. You've been on working, been okay. Working a lot, and you've been good. Okay, how you doing? Doing good. Doing good. No complaints. Yeah, my only complaint with them coming up with TSW3 was the pricing. Because I didn't really have a problem when they went to TSW2 because the price was basically the cost of one, route DLC, and we got 3 new routes with it. Well, on PC we got 2 new routes. On console they got 3 routes because they got Sand Patch. But they did this, kind of the same thing for, bringing us over to Train Sim World 3, but it's much more expensive than Train Sim World 2 was. So, that's kind of my only problem, because basically Train Sim World 2 was a $30 game in terms of US dollars. And then Train Sim World 3 now is a $50 game, with just the base package, so they're moving the game upscale. If the next version is $60 or $70, that might be a little bit rich for my blood for this game. I am thankful they let us move our stuff over. Yeah, I can't really complain about that. That's a very consumer-friendly move they made. Rather than just making us rebuy all our routes and stuff with a completely new game, that would have been pretty rotten. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with them, kind of moving us into a new game completely. My only question is the pricing. All right, let's double check our switches. We should be good. Yeah, Jimmy, so the way it worked is all the DLC that we bought for the previous releases of the game, both Train Sim World 2 and the previous one, Train Sim World, well, originally it was Train Sim World CSX Heavy Haul when I bought it. Then it was Train Sim World 2020, which was really the same game. It was just a title update or a feature update. But then when Train Sim World 2 came out, it was a completely new game. But all our DLC for Train Sim World 1, they ported over. They let us bring it over. So if you already had it, you didn't have to buy it again. And they did the same thing moving into Train Sim World 3. All our previous DLC we brought with us, pretty much. So, that's consumer friendly. I give them a lot of credit for doing that. But they are, they're growing their company. I mean, their staff that supports this company is much, much, much bigger. So the game is costing us more and more. But I'm not sure the increase in value is the same. But other than that, I don't have a lot of huge complaints so far about the game. This, the release anyway. All right, the horn turned off that time. But I figured since we were towards the end of the service, it wasn't that big a risk if it got stuck again. All right, did it. All right, gold medal. Not bad, not bad. All right, so let's take a look. I was trying to finish off the Tier 1 Mastery stuff for Cajon Pass. And yep, we got it now. All right, so I checked off the last 2 of those, and we can start on Tier 2. All right, so Tier 2 says complete 3 scenarios of difficulty 3 or more. And drive at least 80 miles, 128 kilometers. All right. Let's see. So I've mainly been using the mastery challenges to guide me into, you know, each of the routes, the new routes especially. Because I really didn't mess with mastery that much in Train Sim World 2. So, giving it a look, you know, another look in Train Sim World 3 now. I mean, we don't get much for it. All we get pretty much are, it looks like, you know, swag that we can use in the delivery editor. And hello, Gabs. Miss Nurse Gabby with the 100 bits. Thank you very much, Gabs. Welcome. Good evening to you. All right. Do I want to continue with this? You know, I think we'll jump into something else at this point. I enjoy my heavy American freight, but I like to mix things up on stream. Let's find something else to drive. Gabby says good evening. Hope you had a good weekend, Gabby. Since it's almost end of the evening over there, and Gabby's in the UK, guys. All right, let me see. So these are the new routes here. What do I have left on Southeastern High Speed? 2 scenarios of difficulty 3 or more. And I need to put in another 41 kilometers. So any 2 scenarios. Well, at least 3 or more. Let's take a look at that. I always kind of like doing Southeastern High Speed. Let's see. How do we do this? Hello, John Sansker. Welcome. Steam train. Nah, just diesel electric stuff so far. I haven't actually gotten the Steam Train DLC that came out. Boy, how long ago now? I don't know if that was this year or last year now. Alright, so difficulty 3 or more scenarios. Looks like I've done most of these already. Oh, I didn't do this one. Take control of a Class 66. Oh, this is a freight run. Is there another one I can do? Off the grid. Power issue means the 395 service from Faversham to St. Pancras is cut short. Well, that's a level 3. Let's grab that one. I haven't done that yet. Gabby said weekend's not too bad, but it rained a lot. Oh, okay. We had a lot of rain last weekend. It rained here 5 or 6 days in a row. Like, it started in the middle of last week and it rained right through the weekend. That's right, I have to click this now. So, dry weekend this weekend. And actually wasn't too cold here either. It was kind of mild here this weekend. We kind of hit 70s Fahrenheit for us, or I think like low 20s for Celsius. So it wasn't too bad. Kind of nice. All right, welcome to Faversham. This service will run to London St. Pancras, where we will then change ends and head back. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we're at the platform. Where are we? Left side platform. Okay. Key is on. Reversers and forward. I'll tell you what. Let's open the doors while we are setting up. And I always run with my safety systems, so I'm going to set those up now. KVB, TVM, and I think that's okay for that. And I need DRA. It's already on, actually. And DSD and AWS. Alright, DRA is active. Got a 66 coming through with a load of freight, looks like coal. Gabby says nice. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Alright, let's see. Headlights. Day running lights are on. What time is it? Oh, it's actually the evening. It's 1927 hours in game. I'm actually going to turn my headlights up a bit. Alright. Oh, how to open that door? That's weird. Alright, another 30 seconds. We'll be pulling out. Doors are locked. Reversers and forward. Throttle up. Alright, next stop, Sittingbourne, 7 miles. Looks like a limit to this section is 80. John, how you doing today? Hope your weekend went well. Is going well, I should say. It's not over yet. Increased to 85 here. John says doing all right. That's good. John says, at least with the train, you can't get lost. Well, not here I can't, but yeah, we kind of did some heavy freight yard work right before you came in, just before this. And if you've ever seen the freight yard maps, those places look like spaghetti. So yeah, you can definitely get lost in those places. Yeah, navigating those freight yards is like kind of like a Rubik's Cube sometimes. But no, you're right. On a route like this, yeah, it's just straight over the rails. All right, reduction coming up ahead. And our stopping is in about 2 miles. Alright, we're making decent time. Probably started braking a little bit early, but it is our first stop, so... Alright. Set the DRA, open the left side doors. Alright. You know, I'm glad the platforms look busier in general now than they used to look. They're doing a better job with rush hour passengers. Alright, DRA is off, doors are locked. Alright, 5 miles to our next stop, which is Raynham, however you pronounce it. See if I can trust my brakes a little bit more this time. Alright, speed limit increased to 90. Oh, signal ahead, yellow. No, it just went green. Okay. Driving right in the sun glare. Do I have a sunshade in this train? I do. Alright, double yellow here. Reduction 70. We're already below that. green signal there. I was anticipating yellow, but I guess it switched. All right, 3 miles to our stop. Yellow here. Double yellow. Single yellow? Another double yellow. Okay. Alright, coming up on a mile to our stop. Is also double yellow. Double yellow. I guess we're clearing to the platform. Yep. Yeah, a little short. Alright, set the DRA, open the doors. Alright, so we're about a minute and a half behind schedule. Not sure if we can make it up on this route. I guess we'll try. Alright. Doors are locked. away we go. All right, 2.8 miles to our next stop at Gillingham. Our speed limit is 90 here. Mine's kind of busy. Seeing a lot of AI traffic coming the other way. All right, inside a mile and a half to Gillingham. Still a little bit late. Inside a mile now. Yep, missed my reduction to 70. 60 rather. All right. All right, so we're about 2 minutes late now. Don't know if we're going to make that up. All right, we'll see. Next stop is Chatham, 1.4 miles. Reduction ahead to 30, according to that sign. Yeah. Here's my there we go. Desk light. Alright, trying to hold it under 30 as we approach the platform. Stopping short on all my stops today. The lighting in that tunnel looks kind of weird. Look at that. Locked, DRA's off. Away we go. next platform is really close to this stop, Rochester. Excuse me. Rafael, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Just got the last shavings of sunset on the horizon there. Yep, just the last bits of the sun. You know, they've added dynamic weather to TSW. I don't remember actually seeing the sun literally set during a service in TSW2. I don't know if that was a thing or not. Alright, clear signal ahead. Next stop is Strood. We got a signal at the other end of this bridge. It's green. Okay. I think this is... Is this the river that has the submarine in it? I think so. But last time I don't know if it was the last time. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I remember coming across this bridge looking for it, and I sped because I didn't notice the signal was red at the end of the bridge. I started to say it was the last time I came this way, but I don't think it was. I think it was like the last time I played TSW2. I did that. Let me see. Can I run the camera back there? Which way do we come? That way or that way? This way, I think. Yeah. Yeah, there's the sub. Can I go over there? I cannot. Ah. Invisible walls. Crap. Yeah. Oh well. I wonder which sub that's supposed to be. We are running a little over 2 minutes behind. No, a little under 2 minutes. Alright. But with the stops close together like this, I don't really have a lot of room to make up time between stations now. Been held to 15 coming into this tunnel. Is that right? Alright, just got to increase there to 70, looks like. Alright, so we got about 6 miles to our next stop. Maybe we can make up some time. We can try anyway, if we can catch the greens. Alright, turning uphill. Alright, 3 miles to our stop at Gravesend. And we're doing 2 minutes. Alright, I don't know if we're going to make up a lot of time, but let's see. I mean, I guess I could ignore the speed limit and try to make it up. Still clear. Reduction to 50 coming up. Okay. Let's start adding some brake. Begins here. That sign. Right inside of a mile to our stop. Reduction to 30 begins here. Alright, there's a stop at Gravesend. Just over a minute behind. I mean, I guess a minute behind schedule is not horrible. Could do better, though. Alright, load cycle's complete. Lock the doors. Alright. Folks, before we proceed to the next station, I'm going to take me a quick personal break. I'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, you know what? Damn it. I know I forgot something. Hey, Jimmy. Do you do ad breaks on your stream? Just out of curiosity. Because I've been thinking about trying to do them more, to try to help eliminate the pre-rolls. But I haven't been able to form the habit, and I don't really want to put on like the automatic setup that they do, because I don't know. I don't like the way it works sometimes if I'm on somebody else's stream and it automatically, bursts into automatic ads while somebody's talking. The streamer's talking. I just think it breaks the flow. Jimmy says I do mid-roll ads because I never remember to run ads during breaks. Yeah, it's a hard habit to make. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I know Twitch has given you like the tools to do kind of like a set it and forget it, but like for example earlier today, I was on a new guy's stream that I started following, and he's a relatively new streamer. He just crossed like 50 follows like last week actually. I was his literal 50th follower. So I was just hanging out for a little bit on his stream today, and he was in the middle of telling me a story about something. Oh, we were sharing stories because we found out we both used to play City Skylines. And he was in the middle of a story, and all of a sudden it broke out into an ad break. And I was like, damn, And I didn't really have the heart to tell him I didn't hear most of what he said because the ad break interrupted, him. So that's why I don't like the automatic setup. So I've been saying, well, if I can just remember at times that, like just now when I went on a break, if I could remember to trigger an ad break, right while I'm going on a break or something like that, if I can just try to form the habit, but it's really hard. Jimmy says, I think people forget too that Twitch's stance is 1.5 minutes an hour, right? Standard, rather. Yeah, okay. Either one works, I guess. And hola, mundo! Buenas noches! Jimmy says he will remind you. Thanks. Yeah, it's just like I remember the run one last night. When I took my break. But yeah, like you said, what they want you to do is they want you to run them every hour, 90 seconds worth every hour. So I mean, I could see it would be convenient to just set up the auto scheduler, but I just don't want to do that. So I don't know. Still trying to figure out how I want to deal with it, or I could just leave it alone and not worry about it and let people just have to deal with the pre-rolls, I guess. Hey, doing, Armando? This says, I think I may have figured out why my stream was crashing so badly. Oh, really? Okay, that's good. May have. Yep, we're doing some TSW3. So, Amundo, what did you figure out about your stream? All right, you know what? I think the sunset is below the horizon now. I wasn't sure it was actually going to work, but I think it is. Alright, inside a mile to our stop at Ebbsfleet. There's our double yellow here. Alright, reduction to 60. Here we have to do a power changeover from DC to AC power. It's always fun. And not spad. Alright, decent stop for a change. So DRA, open the right side platform. Doors. Alright, let's see, I gotta do my changeover. So, how do I do the changeover again? Oh, now you give me a tutorial. Didn't even let me figure it out. There we go. Sounds like the pantograph didn't connect to the overhead wires. Try and raise it again. Looks like the pantograph is blocked. Unload all the passengers and take the empty stock to Rochester Levy until it can be looked at. Oh, man, my service is busted. Plot twist. Oh, man. Change in, set the headlights to tail. Oh, okay. Right. The only thing I did not do was turn off the dusk light. Actually, I should clear the safety systems, I guess. Hang on a second. What's up? Let's switch ends.
Safety and security.
Alright, driver's key in. Reverser on. Headlights to day running. Day running. Alright, so I'm going back on DC power. Alright, lock the doors. Alright, where are we going? Hang on. Man, our train broke down. We gotta take it out of service. Alright, so we're going to Rochester Levy. I'm not sure where that is. Alright, let me save her real quick. Alright, I was just trying to figure out if it's a long trip or a short trip, if it's worth me turning on safety systems. Alright, before we move on, let me catch up. Armando, you said, you know I'm almost exclusively in Elite Danger, so this gigantic planetary system seems to be the one giving a hard time to my rig. Oh, okay. Seems like a good game. Yeah. Armando, I didn't see any crashes when you were streaming last week. Seemed like you were running okay. You were, rather? I wasn't, until I wasn't, gotcha. Sorry, folks. Somebody will be along to finish your service, I'm sure. Running smooth until it wasn't? Yeah. Alright, looks like we have to go 9 miles to our layover. Of course, as if I don't derail because I did not slow down properly. Are you talking about the game crashed or your system crashed? Your whole PC froze for some ungodly reason? Ouch. Yeah, that's no fun. Yeah, look at the sky. We got a legit sunset during this service. That's pretty cool. little stutter there. That's not good. This game looks neat. Yeah, it's not bad. They just... Oh, good lord. I'm way... over the limit. They just gave us a big update during the week, so it's my first time having a chance to try it. Mundo says, any new features compared to TSW2? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of updates compared to TSW2. Yeah. If you put in the command exclamation point TSW, you'll get some links. Well, mostly they have the current news on there, but those pages will take you to, they should probably take you to links to, you know, what's new in TSW in general. Yeah, I was just trying to think off the top of my head with the really big updates where they made. I mean, dynamic weather is a big one. They really did redesign the entire sky, what they call the skybox. I think they call them volumetric clouds, which means they're, you know, real 3D generated cloud objects now. I mean, even just driving along here, you can kind of see that. Well, I don't know if you can tell that much from TSW2, but especially under these current weather conditions, but the sky in general has had major improvements. More passengers, more passenger AI, whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, I think I have a link to... Let me see if I can find it real quick. One of the early, you know, pre-release info pages they had up. Yeah, let me post this in chat. It's an FAQ they had. That should still work. So yeah. They were, you know, pretty ambitious about this release. You know, they're trying. Still got another 3 miles to go to our layover. Cab light. Dusk light. There we go. Uh-oh. I missed my speed reduction. Good Lord. I was afraid it was going to derail. Oh, derp, derp, derp. We survived. There's our sub again. Everybody wave to the sub crew. So clearly a nuclear submarine. But I just find it interesting that they put it in the game. I wonder if there's a story behind it. Like maybe does one of the devs have a family member who served, you know, in a subservice or anything like that, I'm wondering. Blast Pop says apparently it's an ex-Soviet class sub. Bought by some rich guy and now it rots there according to SAP. Oh! Wow, so it's not even a UK sub. A Royal Navy sub. Oh, okay. Thanks for the info, Blast Pop. I'm gonna have to do some more homework on that. Now I'm curious about the backstory on that. Man, imagine how rich you have to be to just buy, you know, somebody's nuclear submarine on surplus. You know? Jeez. Oh, look at this. Look how close my stop marker is to the red signal. Jeez. Brutal. Y'all just want me to spad, don't you? That's like 5 yards apart. There. Whew, didn't spad at least. Alright, we did it. Gold medal. Cool. Alright, so time taken 1 hour 10 minutes. That's not bad. I think the overall scenario was rated for 1 hour and 10 minutes, so that's good. 31 seconds. Let's see. How bad was my on-time performance, though? Before our service was interrupted. So 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 3 minutes here. But that was coming into the last stop before we got turned around. I wasn't that late. I don't remember being 3 minutes late coming into that platform. I'm not sure about that one. All right. Okay, well, as long as we get credit, because the only reason I did that service was to get credit for the mastery challenges. Let's take a look at that. Oh, got it. Okay. So I had to complete 2 scenarios with a difficulty of 3 or more. Did I do both of them? I got credit for 2. I thought I only did 1. I don't know. Something's weird about how they do the tallies for these masteries. Because sometimes you come in and look and you can see you have everything filled out, but it still isn't unlocked. Like, it didn't unlock the next tier. But then other times, like, you'll come in and, you know, you'll do one thing and then it unlocks multiple things. So they still have some flakiness going on in this scoring system. I don't know what's going on here. All right, I am glad that we got the mid-game saves back now, though, because a lot of times doing longer services like that, you know, services like over an hour and whatnot, I'm always worried, you know, especially while saves were disabled, that if I do something stupid at the end, you know, a spat or, you know, derailment or whatever, and you just wasted 2 hours of work. You know, so I'm glad to get those saves back anyway. Alrighty, folks. I think, ladies and gents, we are going to wrap here. We've been streaming a little over 3 hours. I am going to make me some dinner and prepare for NFL football tonight. My hometown team is playing. And like I said earlier, I had... Have a nice evening. Thanks, Blast Pop, you too. I had planned on sometime today continuing with Superliminal, but I think we're going to do that maybe as a bonus stream during the week. So I'm going to try to throw in a bonus stream for us to finish that during the week. Ladies and gents, thanks again. Appreciate everybody spending your time here today. Have a great week ahead, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon on the bonus stream that we're planning. Thank you, Jimmy, for modding. Appreciate everybody being here, and you guys take care. Peace.